Hello there, Ray here. With the full release of 1 to 18 coming on November 30th, you will no longer have to get the dripstone blocks from trading masons or the points from wandering traders, because we'll no longer have these measly small and rare formations in caves. Instead, 1 to 18 has these massive dripstone cave biomes, where you can easily mine up plenty of it to craft into dripstone blocks or to make my automatic lava farm. This is done by using its unique ability to fill up cauldrons in some scenarios, or my infinitely automatic pointed dripstone farm, using its ability to grow in the proper conditions. But there is so much more to these amazing blocks, such as you can climb up any of these that are 4 high, but due to the random placement within a block, just like other vegetation, they don't work very good for the most vertical stair in Minecraft, but they can be used in the most inefficient staircase. Remember to subscribe. Or in making yourself the most inefficient upside down staircase, in case gravity ever switches on you. But the randomness allows gaps for secret entrances. Falling on a point does double damage, but this can be reduced by having protection and feather falling, or completely negated by waterlogging it. But be warned, the damage can go through thin blocks, making even waterlogged dripstone not safe to fall on, which can be used to make more efficient farms. If only these guys knew to just not bounce. But it has no effect on mobs that don't take fall damage. But the real fun comes when dropping these onto enemies. And it does a similar damage as an anvil, but can be reduced by wearing a helmet. Or you can just avoid the dripstone by jumping. And don't worry about smacking your head against these, as it won't hurt you. Which made it perfect for my easy wither killer. Falling dripstone is just like falling sand, where it can get slowed down by cobwebs and also be suspended by bubble columns, meaning that you can dupe it with the entrance and portal just by dropping it from 6 blocks up while having a fence underneath. Hop in, now we will get twice as many. With a little bit of redstone, you can actually make a dripstone cannon to hit your enemies. You used to be able to make repeatedly falling dripstone, but it broke in 1.18. But you can still make a bouncing dripstone like this, and it gets bounced up and down, but won't do any damage if you're inside of it. Dripstone can be placed on any full square top or bottom surface, but you can do this seemingly impossible trick where you have dripstone supporting the carpet, and then you have the carpet supporting the dripstone, and without the one, you lose the other. You can use shift to decide if you want the points to connect with the top one or not connect. Using the creative debug stick, you can do some pretty funny stuff. Out of all the dripstone shapes, only the short pointy one does damage when dropped on. Dripstone cave openings are quite the sight to come across when exploring in your new world. These giant dripstone columns combined with the new Swiss cheese caves produce these amazing looking pillar rooms. And in dripstone caves, copper blobs will be much larger, making it the ideal place to gather copper. Drowns can also spawn in water in these dripstone caves, and they spawn in 50% faster than even inside of rivers. So of course I designed a drown farm and put it inside of an exposed dripstone cave. But the only problem with the farm is because of the new deeper depths of the world, the mobs spawn in much slower here at the surface. So I was only getting around about 200 drowns per hour. But if you did build it at the bottom of the world, even this small setup would produce over 2,000 drowns per hour. But it wouldn't be worth it because of all the preparation you have to do. There is also a second new cave type in 1 to 18. You can find these dripstone caves and the lush caves underneath of your old world, where you can get these new particle producing spore blossoms. Although you can't use these new blossoms for bees, you can use the azalea bush as well as even the azalea leaves since they have flowers on them, along with all the other flowers, and can be used as flower sources in order to get bee nests with bees to generate with trees. Typically you can collect leaves using a hoe, but at 1.17 you can actually use an axe to silk touch the flowering azalea leaves and instantly. And the axe is actually considered the proper tool for all of these different vegetation blocks, even though they're instant break with the fist. But it is also used for some that aren't instant mine like these over here. One of these axe mineable blocks is the new glowberries, also known as cave vines. Although bees cannot get pollen from these vines, they can actually pollinate them, meaning that they will produce these fruits, and you can right click to harvest it, and then they will just continue to pollinate it until they run out, easily producing berries without any bone meal. Oddly enough, these two blocks are considered the same, called cave vines, where these two blocks are considered something different, being called cave vine plants, and the berries have no effect on the name. Despite both vine types having the moss replaceable tag, they don't actually get replaced by moss. Despite azalea trees having their own new leaf types, as well as their own complex root system, they still use the same oaked logs as their trunk. You can find these azalea trees in new chunks, and if you go ahead and dig directly underneath them, there is rooted dirt that will lead you all the way down to the new lush caves biomes. And at the bottom of these, you can also find the hanging root naturally in the world. And these guys have the funny property of being able to hold back water. Here you can find plenty of natural, small, and big drip leaf, so you no longer have to get it from wandering traders. The big one has a hidden feature where it can detect anything that touches it even before it tilts, and it can detect bats where tripwire cannot. You can also find azalea bushes here, which have a few secrets of their own. First being that you can place them right beside a cactus without popping it off. The next being that mobs will try to pathfind right through it, so just placing one down in front of them will prevent them from getting to you. Despite it easily being washed away by water, because of its solid top, it can actually stop water if the water is only flowing from the top of a block. It also contains invisible platforms inside of it, so if you would sneak inside, you can actually get trapped. But one of those platforms is actually 6 pixels wide, making it the only block in the game to have this width. Despite the azalea bushes looking similar, the normal one only has a 65% chance of adding layers to compost, where the flower one has a 85% chance. This is also prevalent in the azalea leaves, where the plain ones have a 30% chance, and the flowering ones have a 50% chance. Despite their odd shape, mobs can actually spawn on top of them. Despite the azalea bushes being considered saplings, unlike all other saplings, these guys won't naturally grow up, but instead have to be bone milled in order to grow. Unlike most leaves which change their color depending on what biome they are inside of, the new azalea leaves keep their vibrant colors even in hospitable biomes. You also can find moss carpets in these biomes. They're just like normal carpets, but they have the unique ability of not being able to get burned because they are considered like moist. It's actually possible to turn a stone block into the future 1.19 mud block. This is done by first bone milling a moss block that's near it, which will turn it into moss, then growing an azalea tree on top of it, and this will convert it into a rooted dirt. Now all you have to do is use a hoe on the rooted dirt, and this will produce a hanging root item as well as turn it into dirt. And in 1.19 you're able to use a water bottle on the dirt to convert it into mud. And drying out the mud will produce a clay block. And I already designed this automatic farm that can produce both clay as well as mud. With my simple moss farm, it is possible to get infinite amounts of bone meal, fuel sources, as well as XP. And it can run 24/7 on servers. You can sometimes find these lush caves popping out of the ground, producing these really cool openings. And if you're lucky, you can still find these cool pirate coves within your world. Now, tropical fish can also spawn in the waters of lush caves, and axolotls can only spawn in lush caves with clay block underneath them. Plus, now they have their own mob cap, so they're no longer in with glow squids. So in order for my axolotl farm to continue to work, you'll have to come down here and replace the floor with clay blocks in order to get them to spawn in once again. And using commands, you can put all these silly items on your head. Check out this playlist to learn about more secrets of Minecraft, or this playlist to learn about other glitches I come across during testing. And we just recently reached 320,000 subscribers here on YouTube. Thank you everyone who took the time to hit the subscribe button, and if you're not subscribed, there is still time, and while you're at it, join the notification gang. Thank you all for subscribing and leaving a like. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye!